Hey kids, today we're going to be drawing a robin. Now this is very good for Draw a Bird Day, which is coming up, and if you can remember how to do it, particularly good for Christmas as well, for if you're making those Christmas cards and general Christmas decoration-y type of stuff. So here we go. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is to draw kind of a circle in the middle of your page like that. It's not like it's not a really neat circle, but it should do for now. And we're going to slice off this top right hand corner of the circle. So kind of draw a line across there like that. This is going to be the bird's body. And the head and body are going to be in the same shape. So I'll just round this off at the bottom, just make it a little bit neater. Okay, so just towards the top of this shape here, in fact I'll rub out this area here because I don't need it now. Just get rid of that bit. I don't need that bit. That's basically the shape of the bird's body and head in one. So around about here at the top of this shape, I'm going to draw a line going across. About halfway across this bit here, if you can imagine, that's where the line stops, that's where the line ends, so around about there, just over halfway, I'm going to start drawing a shape which is going to come down here like this. Now I'm going to start heading back over towards this end, the left hand side, like that. Then I'm going to start heading down that way. So I'm just going to round off the shape at the bottom, so I'm going to round it off at the bottom and connect it to this line here. So you end up with that kind of a shape. This is the bird's breast. This is where the face will be. So you want the eye about there, not, further towards the right than in the centre. And just at the edge, you want an oval which cuts across the edge of the overall shape, like that. That's basically the bird's face. Now, if I can imagine a line coming from the centre of this squiggly line here, this point, if you were to leave a bit of a gap, then start drawing a line, a curved line, which curves up, following this shape, following this line, curves up. It ends roughly about there, I would say about there, and at the end just add some little feathers, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, as many as you like that, for the bird's wing. At the back, where this shape, this line meets itself at this point here, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to do some little feathery bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, again, you can have 5, you can have 6, you can have 3, and that's the bird's tail. Now, in the centre of the overall shape, we can imagine that is the overall size. So a centre line would roughly be about there. You've got to try and figure out where the centre of gravity of the overall bird is going to be, and I think it will be roughly about there. As I'm speaking there, I'm just going to round the front bit of the breast off just so it's a bit of a nicer shape. And from this point, leaning forwards, you want 2 parallel lines, then coming to the left a bit, leaving a slight gap, add an even more acute angle, another 2 parallel lines. So you've got that, the bird's feet. And you can just do 2 little loops at the front and 1 at the back. If we could do that on the other 2 lines, try to keep all the proportions the same, for everything. It doesn't matter if they're slightly out. If you're going to make any smaller, I would make the front leg smaller, because that leg's going to be behind the body, so it could serve the perspective aspect. Okay, so that's about that, and that is roughly the entire shape drawn. Now this bird is going to be a robin, so it'll be good for Christmas cards, as well as the Draw a Bird for Draw a Bird Day in April. So I'm going to start inking it in using the marker. And here's a tip, a good tip that you might want to try. If you're going to be working at home on your table and you're going to be using a marker such as this one, which leaves quite a heavy mark and the ink tends to seep through the paper, you might want to put a second sheet of paper underneath it first, just to save your tablecloth from being marked by the ink that's going to bleed through. That may bleed through, it mightn't, but there's a possibility that it will. So, so I'm going to start with the eye. I'm going to draw the whole thing in black and just leave a slight little white space as a highlight to make the eye look glossy. Now I'm going to do this line. This is the outer body. I'm just going to follow this line and keep this line nice and smooth so it doesn't have any breaks in it. The only time I'm going to stop the line is when I get to the beak, like that. And while I'm there, I might as well draw the beak in. I'm going to stop when I get to the second leg, which is this one here. I'm going to stop the line there. Then start it again, leaving a slight gap where the leg will be. Take it all the way around until I finish at the tail. Whenever you're using lines, dark lines like this, if it's going to be like the line's going to be thick and thin, you're best off the thicker part of the line being underneath to give the image weight. So to demonstrate, I'll just quickly demonstrate what I mean by this. So if you've got a circle, you're going to draw a ball or something. The line thick at the bottom, thin at the top, and as you can see, it adds a little bit weight to the bottom part of the shape, like that. You don't have to do that. You can just keep the line as even as you like across the entire image, but sometimes if I'm going to use thick and thin lines, the thicker lines would be at the bottom. It just tends to give the image a bit weight. Anyway, continuing where I left off. Drawing the wing in. Get these feathers drawn in. And you can double the feathers up a bit. Like that. You don't have to, you can if you want though. Just add a bit more detail. I'm going to now do this breast piece, which I'm not just pressing on very lightly with my pen. If you want, you can even leave slight gaps in this line. It's not a defining shape line, it's just a detail line, so you can treat it a little bit differently. So just to draw the legs in, I'm just again following the line up. The leg in front, this first leg here that I'm drawing, that can overlap the body slightly. As you can see, the line's breaking into this shape. It just gives you that illusion that that leg will be in the foreground. It's a trick a lot of cartoonists use. Just finish off. And then draw the other leg behind. Tuck it behind the first one. And just as an added effect, I'm going to just shade the top part of the leg, just to give you the illusion that it is actually behind. Okay, so that's the drawing just about done. I just need to rub out the pencil lines and then I'll start colouring him in. I'm going to get my big eraser. I'm just going to rub out all of those pencil lines that I no longer need. You might, when you're doing this at home, want to leave the ink drawn to dry a bit before you start using the rubber, because this is when you start getting the smudged lines. Right, now I'm going to start colouring him in. This area, including the wing and the tail, is all going to be brown. So I've got my brown pen. I'm just going to use the same old crosshatch effect that I love so much. It's great for if you're doubling the colours up. And I would always do this with a darker colour. So if you're using two colours, like a brown and a yellow, or a brown and an orange, or a green and a yellow, it's always best to do the darker colour first and then go over the whole thing in the lighter colour. I'll demonstrate, I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'll sometimes leave a slight white edge along the top. You know, the bottom, at the bottom the pattern goes right to the edge. At the top, it goes almost to the edge. It just leaves a slight white area, which is going to be like the highlight of the bird. That's the brown almost done. Yeah. Just continue with the tail. I'm doing the same thing with the wing that I've done with the body, and I've left a slight white edge along the top part of these feathers, just to show that it's got like some kind of form to it. I'm going to make sure I leave no white gaps between the body and the wing, like in this area. Right, just about done. I'm going to go around over the whole area with orange. The whole area that I've drawn brown, I'm going to go. Actually, I'll use the light orange. Light orange will be better for this. You can see the effect it creates almost straight away. It would work if you had a lighter brown as well. As orange is good, because I mean, you get oranges in just about every pack of pens. It's a common colour. So, which is why I'm demonstrating this with the orange rather than using a lighter brown that you mightn't have access to. That's the body done. Again, the same thing. Because this bird is a robin, I'm going to be using the red first of all to do this, the same crosshatch effect over the whole of the breast area, leaving the top part white, which I'll show you. This red is a new red, which is why the colour is very strong. Okay, so I'm going to use the same orange again that I used for the body, and I'm just going to go over that bit there that I've just drawn. You'd probably be able to get it better if you used a better red, or perhaps even a pink you might want to use. It's up to you, you know. Now with the orange, like I've solidly coloured in the colour up to that part there where I've finished the red. And I'm just going to fade out to the orange into that area there. Okay, so that's like the red breast done. All I have to do now, simply colour in the beak and the legs. And there we have our robin. A good exercise for Draw a Bird Day. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to see more videos.